Alright, kids. Let's talk about anarchy and folk punk. You know, I love that topic. Let's keep talking about it. So, I recently listened to an album by a wonderful artist called Straight Line Arrival. They're a folk punk band slash solo artist, depending on what album you listen to, based out of North Dakota. But before I get into their newest album and into what I think about it, some quick housekeeping. I saw a lot of you guys asking, oh, what's gonna happen for 100 subs? Good question. Very good question, especially since I just kind of dropped a video on you guys with no explanation. There's gonna be a poll. I'm gonna set up a poll before uploading this. It'll be somewhere in this corner here, in this dark abyssal corner, because I need more lights. And it'll basically just be like, hey, pick a topic, and whatever topic gets the most votes, that topic will be the one I make the next video on. Go vote if you really care. I would love to see what you guys are interested in and research it and report on it appropriately. And then the second point of news is the We Are All We Have series. That is an actual series I am actually starting, and I already have some bands lined up from around here. If you are a Washington band and you want to be on this series, you can go check that little that video out. It'll be in the end card. You can go check that out and see what I'm talking about when I'm saying I'm really excited about this series. And if you are interested, you can DM me on any of my socials. That will be in the description below, and then we can talk about, you know, doing an interview and doing some cool thing together. So let's just get right into it now, starting with the intro now. Man, that intro is disorienting. Alright, so let's get into the album, boys. So this album is by, like I said before, the band Straight Line Arrival. Sometimes a solo artist, sometimes a full band, depending on what album you catch them at. They are a folk punk artist, and this new album is called The Greatest Arsonist. It is a wonderful album, and I was really excited for it. Forewarning, I do know Skylar, I do know them personally. They are a wonderful human being, and they asked me to talk about their new album. So of course I obliged, because I really believe in what they're doing and I really like the style that they're going for. And so just know this is a little biased, although I know I made this as unbiased as physically possible. But just know, if you think, it's a little biased, there probably is a little bit of that in there, but I digress. The way this album opens up is so pretty. It's just this incredibly somber atmosphere and soundscape that really opens up the juxtaposition between this album's two sounds, which is more abrasive and also more pretty. There's also a solid theme in the kind of atmosphere that it has, which is kind of a solid amount of nostalgia, or maybe like self-reflection almost. There's also a lot of layers when it comes to like the sounds that they use and the lyrics that are being told. Creates a lot of nice instrumental layers, so nothing ever really gets redone or nothing ever really gets repeated almost, and no two songs really sound too much alike. And there's also a lot of nice melodic layers for vocals and stuff. It creates a sort of openness almost, which sounds weird because you would think more layers means more busyness, but the way that they use those layers and the way that they use that feeling and that soundscape is to create more of an open, more of a kind of big room almost kind of feeling. The layers just aren't too busy, so it ends up making a not too busy kind of sounding album. This album is also one of those kind of albums that make you feel a lot of things, if you know what I mean. A lot of sad boy feelings in a lot of ways. It just, the ambiance that creates this sort of feeling, these sort of feelings in this album is great, because not many bands and not many albums really do that as much anymore. And there's certainly an aesthetic for this album, as well as most folk punk albums, but the way that Skylar and just Straight Line Arrival portrays it is one of my favorite kind of ways of portraying it. It's just like the way they portray it is just this kind of somber vibe, and it's like, you know, you're sitting in like your living room, it's pouring rain, it's like, I don't know, like let's say 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something, and it's pouring rain outside. You can hear it on like the metal roof or like the chimney or whatever it is. For me it's chimney because apartment life. And you're sitting there and you're playing like one of your favorite like retro or classic games. Shout out Retro Bros. And you're playing one of your favorite like retro games with like a blanket around you and like a nice cold beer next to you, or if you're not the kind of drink, then like a nice hot chocolate or something next to you, and you're just sitting there like soaking in this kind of atmosphere. It's the best kind of atmosphere, I think, personally. And all the while it was like a sad day and you're trying, it's like kind of it's like self-care. That's what this album feels like. It's like you're trying to give yourself self-care because it's been like a really day. That's the kind of feeling I love being described to me, you know? Now enough about feelings, let's talk about music like real men. Their usual style is just basically acoustic guitar and vocal. That's usually what they do. And then they add in a couple instruments here and there depending on the song. They have a couple electric guitar parts, they have a couple of extra percussions, or they have a xylophone or whatever it is. They add in something to bring out the song if it's a special song. For this album, they actually had a full band of 3 people. So they actually had more instruments. They had percussion, like they had kit percussion on basically the whole album. And they had bass on the whole album as well as guitar and vocals, and they also added in some extra elements of instruments here and there. For instance, for extra instrumentals, they add in some string instruments in songs like Bloody Knees. And they have very well thought out percussion and very well thought out, you know, bass and guitar in songs like No Home and The Greatest Arsonist. The benefits to this is they are broadening their ability to make music with more than just a guitar. Because what you fall into and what you'll find is that a lot of songs end up sounding the same unless you use a variety of chords and progressions and notes, and just if you really try to broaden it out. Which I think that in this album, they achieved what they wanted to, which was broadening their sound more in the sense of adding to it. And let's talk about vocals. Vocally speaking, Skylar does a lot of acrobatics, as I call them, vocal acrobatics in their vocals. And I think it works out very well in this album. They usually do quite a bit of vocal acrobatics in terms of like what they can make their voice do, and I think they did a great job here. They can do kind of soft and somber, and they can also do loud and aggressive. They really are able to mold their voice to do like whatever they need. Also, the kind of lyrical message that this album has is great too. It's kind of the message of, at least to me, like, I don't know if this is the actual messaging, but to me it's just kind of like, this world, let's just ride it out together. Let's go at it, let's get it, you and me, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it sounds like to me. And also, they have the kind of style for this album of like storytelling. The story that they tell with this album is amazing, and the way that they just match up the stories with the music to create intensity is amazing. This album also has a sonic aesthetic. Now, I will say that it is similar to a lot of other folk punk albums in how it has this sonic aesthetic and how it's portrayed. A lot of folk punk has this kind of sonic aesthetic, and it's a similar one that they all kind of have, of just this dirty DIY, like the authorities kind of aesthetic. But I think Skylar does it very well, and I think it holds up and enhances this album very well. I will also say that not many other genres of music have a sonic aesthetic. It's just that folk punk tends to have one. The only thing I could foresee there being issues with in this album is that some people might have an issue with the production and the mix. Because it is DIY, it was entirely recorded, mixed, and mastered by Skylar, as far as I am aware, and I know that some people tend to not like that kind of style. I personally like that style. I think it's more honest. I think it comes off more genuine, and I just like that aesthetic and that kind of sound. But that being said, I know some people have an issue with it. So just keep that in mind before going in and listening to this album. And there are going to be some parts that seem a little uncoordinated, like in the song Something Better Than This. But I think that just rings true to the kind of DIY style. But some people don't like that, and that's fine. All in all, though, I love this album. I love it a lot. I think it was great. I think that in general, just Skylar, dude, you did a great job. That's all I can say. I know how much that you slaved over this album, and I know that you were really worried about how it would come out, but you did it. And I think all you guys should go listen to this album and go buy it, go stream it, go whatever and give Skylar some love. I'm going to give this album a 9 out of 10. So let's go in and talk about the songs I liked and didn't like. The songs I like are Bloody Knees, Bootstraps, The Greatest Arsonist, We Don't Die Alone, As It Is Lonely, and Funeral and Pub Crawls. Those are some of my favorite songs, and the only song I didn't really like as much was Something Better Than This. That being said, all of the links for where you can find this album are directly below. Please, please, please go check it out. It is amazingly done. It has a great aesthetic. It was incredibly well recorded for being a DIY project. It is so good. Yes?
Oh, are you in the middle of it?
I literally just said that I'm going to start filming, and that's why I closed your door.
I just came out to make some toast.
How dare you? Yeah, of course, go.
You mind if I can jump in on the video?
I mean, did you listen to The Greatest Arsonist by Straight Line Arrival?
No.
Well, you should, because it's a great album.
I can be some comic relief. I mean, I'm just in my boxers.
I don't want to. I mean, I was about to say I don't want to get demonetized. I'm not monetized though, but I also don't want to get shadow banned. So.
I mean, I feel like people would dig it.
I mean,
Just
probably.
Just a random ass dude just walking in front of the camera almost naked.
I mean, true. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you are new here, consider subscribing to go follow me for when I put out more stuff. If you haven't seen me before, hi, how's it going? Go check out my back catalog of other videos I have done. It's all generally about music stuff, whether it's album reviews or it's just about general bigger music concepts. If you like this video, please give it a like, show some love for me and for Straight Line Arrival. And if you have thoughts on this album, or you have thoughts on how I recorded this or whatever it is, please comment down below. I read them all and I respond to pretty much all of them as well. If you have a friend who might have opinions on this album or how I did this, or you think just needs to see this, please share this and send it to them. Spread the love, spread my dumbass face around. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day, and I hope you discover some new music. Goodbye.